Hey guys, I'm David, and this is the flip version of the Vanguard PD for Ridgeview Middle School. Now, if you're wondering how I'm doing this video on TouchCast, and TouchCast is a great iPad app for Flip Classroom because it allows you to add pretty much anything to a video, plus it has pretty much all the video tools you would want. Things like green screen, teleprompter, they're all built in, and it's free. So this course, the first one that you're going to do is called iPad Basics. And so this is a place to start. And to start off, this is an iPad. You guys just got these recently in the hands of the faculty, and eventually the kids are all going to get these. So the first thing to note about an iPad is how to turn it on and off. Now, the first thing is you don't really need to turn an iPad off. It goes to sleep pretty much as soon as you quit using it, and it doesn't really drain the power. So there's no real reason to turn them completely off pretty much ever. The only reason that you would really have to do that is in case you have to reset the iPad, which does happen occasionally, but not often. And to turn it on and off, what you would do is you'd hold down what we're going to call the power button at the top and the home button at the bottom. And then it'll give you a little slider. You slide that off and it turns it completely off. So you're basically resetting the iPad. The next thing to know is where's the volume? How do you turn the sound up and down? Well, to turn the sound up and down, there are switches on the side of the iPad that are located pretty much right here. Those switches include a up and down volume, and then there's also a little switch right there that's basically your mute, where you can mute the iPad pretty easily. The next thing is the headphones and power ports. So the headphone jack is up here. It's pretty self-explanatory. You plug in headphones. The power jack, or the sync, which will actually, where you can sync it with your computer, is basically right below the home button. Now the thing to note about the power is a few years ago Apple actually changed their power port. So there's an older power port that's it's basically a larger headed plug called the 30-pin connector. And then there's the Lightning one, which all of the Ridgeview faculty iPads are on. It's good to know the difference between the two because you will probably encounter both of them, at least for a while, in the building. Some other things to note. The first thing is up here in the corner, one of the quickest ways to diagnose an issue with the iPad is it on Wi-Fi or not? And there's a little icon, you can barely see it up here. It kind of looks like, it looks like kind of a sound, it looks like a way, like kind of a, it's a bunch of lines on top of each other. And this tells you if you're on Wi-Fi or not. If you see that icon, you are. If you don't see that icon, you're not. The other thing to note up here is the battery icon. The battery icon tells you how much power is left in the iPad. Now, most iPads default to just a picture, but you can change in the settings to see the actual percentage, which is really nice to do usually. Another thing to note here is this, and that's an application. That's something that's been pulled from the App Store to actually let you do something on the iPad. Over here you have a folder, and a folder is a bunch of apps together, and I'll show you in the next slide how to make folders. And then the last but not least, this is actually a URL icon. So you can actually save URLs. For instance, if you had some form you have to fill out all the time, great way to do it, to your iPad screen as icons. Now, moving applications. To rearrange screens, what you would do is hold your finger on an application until it starts to shake. And what you'll see is on these applications right here, right in the corner of them, there's a little X. That'll let you delete them. But what you can also do is you can move those applications on top of each other, which will put them into folders, or you can rearrange your screen to keep it more organized.